The transport ship landed with a soft thud on the New Angeles spaceport. Dr. Maya Johnson stepped out into the bright afternoon sun, carrying only a worn travel bag over her shoulder. 3 months on the distant Centauri colonies had left her, tired but satisfied. The trade agreements she had just signed would bring millions of credits to human businesses across the galaxy. Maya looked nothing like the powerful CEO she was. Her simple gray jumpsuit was wrinkled from the long journey. Her dark skin showed the effects of different gravity and artificial lighting. Her hair was pulled back in a basic ponytail. Anyone looking at her would see just another tired traveler coming home from a long trip. She walked through the busy streets of the commercial district. Humans and aliens moved together in the crowds. Tall blue Zephyrians with their 4 arms carried shopping bags. Short furry Centauri merchants pushed hover carts full of goods. Human children pointed at the strange visitors from other worlds with wonder and excitement. Maya stopped in front of a massive building made of gleaming metal and crystal. The sign above the entrance read, "Stellar Gems," in letters that changed color as she watched. This was her flagship store, the first and most important location of her jewelry empire that now spread across 40 star systems. She had built this company from nothing 15 years ago. Back then, humans had just made first contact with alien races. Most people were afraid of the strange beings from other worlds. But Maya saw opportunity where others saw danger. She learned their languages, studied their cultures, and discovered they loved beautiful things just as much as humans did. The automatic doors should have opened as she approached. Instead, they stayed closed. A red light blinked above the entrance. Maya frowned and stepped closer. Still nothing happened. She could see customers inside the store, both human and alien, looking at displays of jewelry made from crystals found on dozens of different planets. A man in a crisp blue uniform appeared behind the glass doors. His name tag read, Kevin Walsh, store manager. He was tall and thin with pale skin and cold gray eyes. Maya had never met him before, but she knew his employee file. He had been hired 6 months ago while she was away on business. Walsh opened, the door just wide enough to stick his head out. He looked Maya up and down with disgust clear on his face. His eyes took in her simple clothes, her travel bag, and her tired appearance. "Store is closed," Walsh said in a flat voice. Maya looked past him at the customers clearly shopping inside. Bright lights illuminated cases full of sparkling gems. Sales staff moved between displays helping people try on necklaces and bracelets. A Zephyrian family was examining a set of rings made from rare Martian crystals. "But there are people shopping in there right now," Maya said calmly. Walsh stepped fully outside and crossed his arms. "Not for people like you. This is a high-end establishment. We serve a certain type of customer." He looked her up and down again. "I suggest you try the discount stores in the lower district." Maya felt a cold anger growing in her chest, but she kept her voice steady. "What type of customer do you serve?" "People who can afford our products," Walsh said with a sneer. "People who belong in a place like this, not drifters looking for handouts." A small crowd began to gather. Maya noticed a tall Zephyrian watching from near the store's side window. She recognized him as Velthar, one of the diplomatic corps members she had worked with for years. His 4 arms were crossed in the gesture his people used to show anger. 2 human women walking by stopped to stare. One of them pulled out her communication device and began recording. A young Centauri male with fur the color of copper looked on with wide eyes. "So you decide who can enter based on how they look?" Maya asked. Walsh straightened his uniform jacket. "I decide based on who belongs here and who doesn't. This store represents the best of human achievement. We can't have just anyone walking in off the street." Maya almost laughed at the bitter irony. This store existed because she had convinced alien governments to trust human businesses. She had spent years proving that humans could be fair partners in galactic trade. She had built relationships with dozens of species, learned their customs, and created jobs for thousands of people. The jewelry in the cases behind Walsh contained gems she had personally negotiated to acquire. The fire opals came from agreements she made with Martian mining colonies. The crystal formations were gifts from grateful alien partners. The rare metals were extracted using methods she had developed to protect alien environments. I see, Maya said quietly. And what if I told you I have credits to spend? Walsh laughed, a harsh sound that made several onlookers step back. Credits? Lady, do you have any idea what a single piece in this store costs? The cheapest item we sell would take you months to save up for. Velthar moved closer, his large frame casting a shadow over both humans. His translator device crackled to life. This is most disturbing behavior, he said in his deep voice. Stellar Gems has always welcomed all beings. Walsh turned to face the alien diplomat. And you are? I am Velthar of the Zephyrian Diplomatic Corps. I have conducted much business with this establishment. Well, Mr. Vel, whatever. This doesn't concern you. Please move along. Maya watched Velthar's skin change from blue to a darker purple, a sign of deep offense among his people. She knew this single interaction could damage trade relationships that had taken years to build. The crowd was growing larger. More people were recording with their devices. Maya could see this scene would spread across the galactic communication networks within hours. The reputation of her company, and by extension all human businesses, was being damaged with every word Walsh spoke. She made a decision. Instead of revealing who she was right now, she would let this play out. She needed to see exactly how far this man's prejudice went. She needed to understand what had been happening in her store while she was away building bridges between worlds. I understand, Maya said calmly. Thank you for making your position clear. She turned and walked away, leaving Walsh standing in the doorway with a satisfied smirk on his face. But Maya was far from defeated. She was planning. Maya walked 3 blocks away from her store before finding a quiet cafe. She sat at a corner table and pulled out her personal communication device. Her fingers moved quickly across the holographic display as she activated her neural implant, connection to the Stellar Gems network. The implant was standard equipment for all major business owners in the galaxy. It allowed direct access to company systems from anywhere in the known worlds. Maya had used it countless times during her travels to monitor operations and make important decisions. As the connection established, streams of data flowed into her mind. Sales reports, inventory levels, employee schedules, and security footage all became available to her. She focused first on the store she had just left. What she saw made her stomach turn cold. The security cameras showed Walsh's behavior over the past 3 months. Maya watched him turn away customer after customer. A young human man with a mechanical arm replacement was told the store didn't serve broken people. An elderly woman from the Mars colonies was dismissed when Walsh decided her mining colony credits were probably fake. Maya fast-forwarded through hours of footage. She saw Walsh instruct his staff to watch for undesirable types at the entrance. He had installed illegal biometric scanners that judged customers based on their clothing, posture, and even their species. The scanners were programmed to flag anyone who didn't meet Walsh's narrow definition of worthy customers. The worst incident happened 2 weeks ago. A family of refugees from the destroyed colony on Kepler 442b had saved for months to buy a memorial pendant for their lost relatives. Walsh took one look at their worn clothes and tired faces before having security escort them out. Maya watched the children cry as they were forced to leave. She closed her eyes and took deep breaths. This wasn't just bad customer service. This was destroying everything she had worked to build. Maya opened a new data stream and reviewed the store's financial records. Sales had dropped by 30% since Walsh took over. Customer complaints had increased by over 400%. 3 major alien trade partners had quietly moved their business to competitor stores. She dug deeper into Walsh's employment file. His previous job was at a small jewelry shop on Europa that catered only to wealthy human colonists. He had been fired for discriminating against customers who weren't from Earth. Somehow, that information had been missed during his hiring process. Maya's communication device buzzed with an incoming message. It was from Velthar, the Zephyrian diplomat who had witnessed the scene at her store. Dr. Johnson, the message read, I hope you received my previous communications regarding the trade agreements. I must inform you of a disturbing incident at your flagship store today. A human woman was refused service based solely on her appearance. This behavior contradicts everything Stellar Gems has represented in our business relationship. Please contact me when convenient. Maya realized Velthar didn't know the refused woman was her. She decided not to tell him yet. She needed more information first. She accessed the complaint database for all Stellar Gems locations. The flagship store had received hundreds of complaints in the past 3 months. Customers reported being profiled, insulted, and turned away for reasons that had nothing to do with their ability to pay. One complaint came from Commander Jake Morrison of the Space Force. He had tried to buy an engagement ring for his partner, but was told that military types weren't welcome because they might cause trouble. Morrison had served with honor in the defense of human colonies against hostile alien raiders. Another complaint was from Dr. Susan Lee, a prominent scientist who had discovered new crystal formations on 3 different worlds. She was told her research station uniform made her look too working class for their merchandise. Maya pulled up the recordings of Walsh's staff meetings. She listened as he told employees to maintain standards and keep out the riffraff. He spoke about humans being superior to alien species and how the store should reflect proper human values. This made Maya angry in a way she hadn't felt in years. She had spent her entire career proving that humans could be trusted partners in the galactic community. She had worked with beings from dozens of different worlds, learning their cultures and building mutual respect. Her company employed over 50,000 individuals across 40 star systems. Humans, Zephyrians, Centauri, Martian colonists, and many other species worked together in her mines, factories, and stores. They shared knowledge, techniques, and friendship that made everyone stronger. Maya accessed the broader business network to see if Walsh's behavior was affecting other human companies. What she found worried her deeply. Several alien governments had begun asking questions about human business practices. Trade representatives were expressing concerns about discrimination in human-owned establishments. The Galactic Trade Commission had opened 3 separate investigations into human businesses in the past month. All of them involved complaints about unfair treatment of non-human customers. If this trend continued, it could lead to sanctions against all human companies operating in alien space. Maya thought about the hundreds of thousands of human jobs that depended on galactic trade. Families on colony worlds who relied on interspecies commerce to survive. Children whose futures depended on maintaining good relationships with alien civilizations. One store manager's prejudice was threatening all of it. She opened a secure communication channel to her executive assistant, Lisa Park, who was stationed on the orbital headquarters above Earth. Lisa had been with the company since the beginning and understood the delicate balance required to maintain good relationships across species lines. Lisa, I need you to compile a complete report on Kevin Walsh's management of the flagship store. Maya sent. Include all financial data, customer complaints, and security footage from the past 3 months. Also, prepare termination paperwork and begin searching for a replacement manager. Is there a problem with the store? Lisa replied within minutes. There's a big problem, Maya responded, and I'm going to fix it personally. Maya finished her drink and stood up from the table. She had seen enough evidence. Now it was time to take action. But first, she needed to understand exactly how deep this problem went and whether other stores were affected. She walked back toward the commercial district, planning her next moves carefully. This wasn't just about firing one bad employee. This was about protecting humanity's reputation among the stars. Maya walked across the busy plaza to a smaller jewelry store called Galaxy Gems. The owner, Chen Lu, had been her friend for over 10 years. They had started their businesses around the same time and often helped each other with difficult customers or supply problems. The door chimed as Maya entered. Chen looked up from behind the counter where he was showing a beautiful necklace to a Centauri couple. His face lit up with surprise and joy. Maya, when did you get back from the colonies? Chen set down the necklace and walked over to greet her. I heard the trade negotiations went very well. Just got back today, Maya said. Can we talk privately for a few minutes? Chen nodded and spoke to his customers in their native language. The Centauri couple smiled and said they would look around while he was busy. Maya was impressed that Chen had learned enough of their language to conduct business directly. They walked to Chen's small office behind the main store. Chen closed the door and offered Maya a chair. "You look troubled," Chen said. "What's wrong?" Maya decided to be direct. "What have you heard about my flagship store lately?" Chen's expression grew serious. "I was hoping you would ask about that. Maya, there have been problems, bad problems." "Tell me everything." Chen sat down across from her. "Over the past few months, customers have been coming to me after being turned away from Stellar Gems. At first, I thought it was just misunderstandings. But then, more and more people started telling me the same story." "What kind of people?" "All kinds. Humans from the outer colonies, alien diplomats, war veterans, even some wealthy collectors who have shopped at your store for years." Chen shook his head. "Your manager, Walsh, seems to think he can judge who deserves to shop there just by looking at them." Maya felt her anger building again. "Have you seen this yourself?" "Yes. Last week, I watched from my window as Walsh turned away Commander Jake Morrison. You know Jake, he's bought engagement rings for 3 of his officers here over the years. Good man, always pays in full, never causes trouble." Chen stood up and walked to his window that faced the Stellar Gems store. "Walsh told Jake that military people made other customers uncomfortable. Jake was so embarrassed he could barely speak." "That's terrible," Maya said. "What else have you seen?" 2 days ago, Dr. Susan Lee came to me after Walsh refused to let her in your store. She's one of the top crystal researchers in the galaxy. She's probably forgotten more about gems than Walsh will ever know. But he took one look at her work clothes and decided she wasn't good enough." Maya stood up and joined Chen at the window. She could see people walking in and out of her store. From this distance, everything looked normal, but she knew the truth now. "Chen, have other store owners noticed this?" "Oh yes, we've been talking about it. Some of the alien business owners are very upset. They're starting to wonder if all human businesses are like this now." This was exactly what Maya had feared. "Have any of them changed their buying patterns?" Chen nodded sadly. "The Zephyrian Trade Council has been asking questions about human business practices. 3 major Centauri companies have moved their orders to non-human suppliers. Word is spreading that humans might not be trustworthy partners anymore." Maya felt sick. She had spent 15 years building relationships with alien species. She had learned their languages, studied their cultures, and proven that humans could be fair and honest business partners. Now one man's prejudice was destroying all of that work. "There's something else," Chen said quietly. "Walsh has been telling people that Stellar Gems is changing its business model. He says you're focusing only on high-end human customers now." "That's a lie. I've never said anything like that. I know that. But customers don't. Some of them think the discrimination is coming from you personally." Maya felt a chill run down her spine. Her reputation was being damaged by someone who was supposed to represent her company. Worse, people might think she approved of Walsh's behavior. "Chen, I need to ask you a favor. Anything. Can you make some calls for me? I need to speak with some of the customers who were turned away from my store, especially the alien business leaders." Chen picked up his communication device. "I'll set up meetings for you. But Maya, you need to act fast. There's talk of filing formal complaints with the Galactic Trade Commission." Maya's heart sank. If the Trade Commission started investigating Stellar Gems, it could lead to sanctions against her company. Worse, it might result in restrictions on all human businesses operating in alien space. "How long do I have?" "Maybe a week before the complaints become official. After that, it won't matter what you do, the damage will be permanent." Maya thought about the thousands of employees who worked for her across the galaxy. Many of them were supporting families on colony worlds where jobs were hard to find. If Stellar Gems lost its alien contracts, she would have to lay off huge numbers of people. "Set up the meetings," Maya said. "I'll start making this right." Chen began making calls while Maya contacted her assistant Lisa. Within an hour, she had appointments with 5 major customers who had been insulted at her store. She also scheduled a meeting with Ambassador Rodriguez from the Galactic Trade Commission. As Maya left Chen's store, she saw Walsh through the window of Stellar Gems. He was standing near the entrance looking proud of himself as he watched customers enter. He had no idea that his boss was watching him from across the plaza. Maya pulled out her communication device and sent a message to Lisa. Prepare the termination paperwork for Kevin Walsh. Also, start looking for candidates to replace him immediately. I want someone who understands what this company really stands for. She looked back at her flagship store one more time. Tomorrow, she would walk through those doors again, but this time, Walsh would learn exactly who he had refused to serve. The next morning, Maya stood outside her flagship store once again. This time, she wasn't alone. Her executive assistant, Lisa Park, stood beside her, carrying a briefcase full of legal documents. Behind them walked two officials from the Galactic Trade Commission, their dark blue uniforms marking them as neutral observers. Commander Jake Morrison had also come, wearing his dress uniform with its rows of medals. Maya had called him the night before and explained what she planned to do. Jake had agreed to witness the confrontation and provide testimony about his own treatment at the store. Maya wore her full business attire today. Her black suit was perfectly tailored, and her corporate identification badge gleamed on her jacket. She looked every inch the powerful CEO she was. Anyone who saw her now would know immediately that she was someone important. The automatic doors opened as they approached. The security system recognized Maya's biometric signature and granted full access. Walsh was standing near the jewelry cases, talking to two young sales clerks. He looked up as the group entered. "Excuse me," Walsh said, walking toward them with the same cold expression he had worn the day before. "This is a private business establishment. You can't just bring a crowd in here." Maya stepped forward. "I'm Dr. Maya Johnson, CEO and founder of Stellar Gems Corporation." Walsh's face went completely white. His mouth opened and closed several times, but no words came out. The sales clerks behind him stopped what they were doing and stared. "I believe we met yesterday," Maya continued in a calm, steady voice. "You refused me service at my own store." Walsh finally found his voice, though it came out as a hoarse whisper. "Dr. Johnson? But you looked like..." "Like what, Mr. Walsh? Like someone who didn't deserve to shop here?" "The Trade Commission." Officials stepped forward. The taller one, a woman named Captain Torres, activated a recording device. "This conversation is being documented for official review," she announced. Walsh tried to recover his composure. "Dr. Johnson, there must be some misunderstanding. I was simply following security protocols to protect our valuable merchandise." "Security? Protocols?" Maya pulled out her communication device and projected a holographic display showing the store's security footage. "Let me show you some of your security protocols." The first video showed Walsh turning away the refugee family from Kepler 442b. The children's tears were clearly visible as security guards escorted them out. "Those people were dangerous," Walsh said quickly. "They looked desperate. Desperate people steal things." Maya changed the video to show Commander Morrison being refused entry. Jake stepped forward, his face grim. "Mr. Walsh," Jake said, "I served 15 years protecting human colonies from raiders. I've been decorated for valor in 3 different battles. How exactly do I make customers uncomfortable?" Walsh's face turned red. "Military people can be unpredictable. They're trained to fight. That makes civilian customers nervous." Captain Torres made notes on her recording device. "Are you saying you discriminate against military personnel as a matter of policy?" "No, I mean, it's not discrimination. It's about maintaining the right atmosphere." Maya showed another video, this one of Dr. Susan Lee being turned away. "And what about Dr. Lee? She's one of the galaxy's leading experts on crystal formations. She's discovered gems on 6 different worlds. What was dangerous about her?" Walsh looked around desperately, as if searching for an escape route. "She was dressed like a laborer. Our customers expect a certain level of presentation." "So you judge customers based on their clothes?" "Everyone does that. It's basic business sense." Lisa Park opened her briefcase and pulled out a thick folder. "Mr. Walsh, we've reviewed your employment history. You were fired from your previous job on Europa for discriminating against customers." Walsh's face went from red to pale gray. "That was different," That was a misunderstanding. Was it also a misunderstanding when you installed illegal biometric scanners to profile customers by species? Maya asked. The second Trade Commission official, a man named Inspector Chen, looked up sharply. Illegal biometric scanners? Maya nodded and pointed to small devices mounted near the entrance. Those scanners analyze customers' appearance, posture, and species identification. They're programmed to flag anyone Mr. Walsh considers undesirable. Inspector Chen walked over to examine the scanners. These are definitely illegal under Galactic Trade Commission regulations. Using them to screen customers based on species is a serious violation. Walsh began to panic. Those weren't my idea. They were installed by the previous manager. Lisa Park checked her records. According to our installation logs, you ordered these scanners 3 weeks after you started working here. I was trying to protect the store's reputation, Walsh said desperately. Stellar Gems is supposed to represent the best of human achievement. We can't let just anyone walk in. Maya felt her anger growing, but she kept her voice level. Mr. Walsh, do you know what this company actually represents? High-quality jewelry for discerning customers, Walsh answered. Wrong. Maya gestured toward the displays around them. Every piece in this store exists because I built relationships with beings from dozens of different worlds. The fire opals came from Martian miners, who trusted me to represent their work fairly. The crystal formations were gifts from Zephyrian, artists who considered me a friend. She walked to a case containing rare blue gems. These stones were discovered by Dr. Susan Lee, the woman you called too working class for this store. The woman who has done more to advance human knowledge of alien geology than anyone alive. Maya turned back to Walsh. This company employs over 50,000 beings across 40 star systems. Humans, Zephyrians, Centauri, and dozens of other species work together because I proved that humans could be trusted partners. Commander Morrison stepped forward. And in 3 months, you've undone years of that work. Captain Torres looked up from her notes. Mr. Walsh, are you aware that your actions have prompted formal complaints from 3 alien governments? Walsh's knees seemed to give out. He grabbed onto a jewelry case for support. Formal complaints? The Zephyrian Trade Council, the Centauri, Commerce Bureau, and the Mars Colonial Authority have all filed preliminary discrimination charges, Inspector Chen said. If these charges are upheld, it could result in sanctions against all human businesses operating in their territories. Maya let this information sink in before speaking again. Mr. Walsh, because of your prejudice, thousands of humans across the galaxy might lose their jobs. Families on colony worlds might lose their only source of income. Walsh looked around the store at the sales staff who were listening to every word. Several of them were aliens who had worked for Stellar Gems for years. They were looking at him, with expressions of disgust and betrayal. I was just trying to maintain standards, Walsh said weakly. Whose standards? Maya asked. Not mine, not this company's, not humanity's. She turned to Lisa Park. Ms. Park, please inform Mr. Walsh that his employment with Stellar Gems is terminated immediately. Lisa handed Walsh an official termination document. Security will escort you from the premises. You have 1 hour to clear out your personal belongings. Walsh took the document with shaking hands. Dr. Johnson, please, I can change, I can do better. Maya looked at him with no emotion in her eyes. Mr. Walsh, you've damaged relationships that took me 15 years to build. You've put thousands of jobs at risk. You've made people question whether humans can be trusted partners in galactic trade. She paused and let her words sink in. There is no second chance for that level of failure. Security guards escorted Walsh out of the store as customers and staff watched in silence. Maya stood in the center of her flagship location, looking at the faces around her. Some were curious, others were relieved, and a few looked worried about what would happen next. Everyone, please gather around, Maya said to her employees. I know this has been a difficult morning, but we need to talk. The sales staff formed a circle around her. Maya recognized most of them from their employee files, though she had never met them in person. There was Jenny Rodriguez, a young human woman who had worked there for 2 years. Next to her stood Carvel, a Centauri male whose family had been customers before he became an employee. First, I want to apologize to each of you, Maya began. What happened here over the past 3 months should never have occurred. Mr. Walsh's behavior does not represent the values of this company or the standards I expect from my managers. Carvel raised one of his forearms. Dr. Johnson, some of us tried to report the problems to corporate headquarters. Our messages were never answered. Maya felt another wave of anger, this time directed at her own communication systems. That's unacceptable. Every employee concerned should reach my office directly. Lisa, please investigate why those reports were blocked. Lisa Park made notes on her device. I'll have a full report by tomorrow. Maya turned to address the customers who were still in the store. Several alien shoppers had stayed to watch the confrontation. She walked over to a Zephyrian couple who were examining a display of rings. I'm Dr. Maya Johnson, the owner of this store, she said. I want to personally apologize for any poor treatment you may have experienced here. The female, Zephyrian, whose skin was a deep blue color, spoke through her translation device. We have shopped here many times over the years. Recently, the atmosphere became very unwelcoming. We were considering taking our business elsewhere. I understand completely, Maya replied. I'm making changes immediately to ensure this never happens again. She walked to the store's communication system and activated the company-wide broadcast feature. Her voice would now reach every Stellar Gems location across 40 star systems. This is Dr. Maya Johnson speaking to all Stellar Gems employees and managers. Effective immediately, we are implementing new policies to ensure fair treatment of all customers regardless of their species, appearance, or background. Maya paused and looked around her flagship store. Any employee found discriminating against customers will be terminated without warning. Any manager who allows discrimination in their location will be removed from their position immediately. She continued the broadcast while Lisa Park distributed information packets to the local staff. We are also establishing direct communication channels between all employees and corporate headquarters. If you witness discrimination or unfair treatment, you can report it directly to my office. Commander Jake Morrison stepped forward. Dr. Johnson, what about the customers who were already mistreated? Some of them have lost faith in human businesses entirely. Maya nodded. You're right, Commander. Lisa, I want you to contact every customer who filed a complaint about this store. Offer them personal meetings with me to discuss how we can make things right. Over the next hour, Maya spoke with dozens of people. She listened to stories from customers who had been insulted, employees who had been afraid to speak up, and business partners who had started questioning their relationships with human companies. Dr. Susan Lee arrived while Maya was still talking to people. The crystal researcher looked surprised to see the CEO personally handling customer concerns. Dr. Johnson, I heard what happened here today, Dr. Lee said. I have to admit I was planning to end my research partnership with Stellar Gems. I don't blame you, Maya replied. What Mr. Walsh did was inexcusable, but I hope you'll give us another chance. Dr. Lee looked around the store, watching as human and alien employees worked together to help customers. I've always believed in what this company represents. The problem was never with Stellar Gems as a whole, just with the people running this particular location. Maya smiled for the first time that day. Then you'll continue working with us? I will, but I want to be involved in training your new managers. Someone needs to teach them about the species they'll be serving. This gave Maya an idea. Dr. Lee, would you be interested in a larger role? I need someone to develop company-wide training programs on interspecies relations. Dr. Lee's eyes lit up. That sounds perfect. Lisa Park approached with her communication device. Dr. Johnson, I have the Zephyrian Trade Council on the line. They want to discuss the discrimination complaints. Maya took the device and spoke with Velthar, who was representing the council. She explained what had happened and what steps she was taking to prevent future problems. This is encouraging news, Velthar said through the translator. The swift action shows that human leadership can be trusted to address problems fairly. Over the following weeks, Maya personally visited every major customer who had been mistreated. She met with alien government officials, military leaders, and business partners. In each meeting, she listened to their concerns and worked out solutions. She promoted Lisa Park to manage the flagship store permanently. Lisa had experience working with customers from dozens of different species and understood the importance of treating everyone with respect. Maya also established the Universal Customer Dignity Initiative, a program that other human businesses quickly adopted. The initiative included mandatory training on interspecies relations, bias detection systems, and direct reporting channels to prevent discrimination. Commander Morrison became the head of security for all Stellar Gems locations. His military experience and understanding of honor made him perfect for ensuring that all customers were treated fairly. 6 months later, Maya stood in the renovated flagship store during its grand reopening ceremony. Customers from dozens of species moved through the displays, examining jewelry made from materials found across the galaxy. Velthar approached her, carrying a small crystal sculpture. "Dr. Johnson, this is a gift from the Zephyrian people. It represents trust renewed." Maya accepted the gift with both hands, following Zephyrian custom. "Thank you, Velthar. This means more to me than you know." She looked around the busy store. Human and alien employees worked side by side, helping customers choose pieces that would represent love, friendship, and achievement across the stars. Children of various species pressed their faces against display cases, pointing at the beautiful gems with wonder. "You know," Velthar said, "this incident has actually strengthened human relationships with other species. Your quick response showed that humans will correct problems when they occur." Maya smiled. "That's what humans do best. We adapt, we learn, and we fix our mistakes." The scandal that could have destroyed decades of interspecies cooperation had instead become proof of humanity's commitment to fairness and justice. Other species now look to human businesses as examples of how to handle discrimination complaints quickly and effectively. Maya's company was stronger than ever, employing more beings across more worlds than before the crisis. But more importantly, humanity's reputation as a trustworthy partner in galactic trade was secure. As she watched customers from across the galaxy shop together in harmony, Maya reflected on how one person's prejudice had nearly undone years of work, but how decisive action had turned crisis into opportunity. This was what made humans special among the stars, not their refusal to make mistakes, but their determination to make things right when they did.